Good morning. Morning. Good morning, everyone at the back there. I know, it's a little bit of a distance, but I'll just tell me if you guys can hear me clearly. Is it good? Sure. So obviously, you guys can have a look at the presentation back there. Here, we've got everywhere around. As long as everyone's good, I'm good. My name is Wayne Duplessis. Can I just see who did my spinal mobility back pain yesterday? Quite a lot of you. Welcome back. So you guys know who I am, but for the other people, my name is Wayne. I am from South Africa, and I've been in Dubai for about close to 3 years. I came here, started with fitness first, transitioned into my own thing. I now have a company with my brother, and we have a online coaching program, essentially, and our main focus is women. So we love you ladies, and we work with you a lot. And we've helped hundreds of ladies, and so there's something about mindset that is something I'm passionate about. It's something I was never taught growing up. It's something that I had to just figure out in the big world, and I was thrown into the deep end, and that's why I also wanted to come to Dubai, because I wanted to learn more about myself. I wanted to keep developing my skills. I wanted to get myself out of my comfort zone. That was the number one reason why I came here, right? I just said, hey, let me just go. Because if I don't do it, I know I'm going to stay in my little bubble. And as soon as I'm in that bubble again, I feel like I just need to break out of that again. So here we are as well. So all of us here, we've got things we are dealing with mentally, and all of these things impact our lifestyles, our health, our overall approach to how our day goes is mainly dictated by our mindset, okay? Now you will see a little bit of our graphics. I had it up here so you guys can get a sense of where we're heading. But you will see our kind of logos. This is our company, the coaching program, and this is something we teach in there as well. And so today I want to help you guys kind of think a little bit differently about mindset and focusing more on the mental aspect and not always just on the muscle, right? Because we tend to always get quite over kind of focused when it comes to the training and this and the food and stuff, and we don't actually work on things mentally. Now, you guys spend a lot of time consuming information about the mental stuff. I do as well. But do we ever spend time working on it? Now, this is the most important thing to me, is getting someone to pick one thing and just spend 5 minutes thinking about it, right? Because what we tend to do is we tend to get information that just comes in and it just stimulates us, it stirs something emotionally, and then we move on to the next thing and the next thing. And we never actually dive into it a bit deeper. So today we want to dive into a bit deeper when it comes to our belief systems, our identity, when it comes to willpower, when it comes to consistency, commitment, when it comes to motivation and self-confidence. Now, there's a lot more we could go into, but these are the things we want to focus on today. I also don't want to bore you guys, but I do want to get you to think a bit differently. I want you to challenge your own perceptions and how you see things. And I want you to leave here just attaching to one thing and exploring that in your life. It doesn't help you listen to all this stuff and it sounds amazing. You need to go and explore, right? So that's the way I want to guide you. And these are things that we will obviously reference to training. We are all coaches. We're trying to help improve people's health, not just their mindset, right? But mindset's obviously a big component. So that's what we are focusing on today. Just to finish off about me, I've got our program that focuses on lifestyle development, health, mentorship, and one-on-one coaching for people. But I'm also a PT. I'm freelancing PT as well at the moment. I teach weightlifting and kettlebell courses for MeFitPro. And so yesterday I did spinal mobility and back pain, and today we're here on mindset. So it's quite a bit different. But mobility, human performance, and then mindset, these are my two big passions. And so any of you coming to my shoulder blade workshop after this, you will get the same sense that I'm trying to kind of get you to think differently. I want us to get out of the box that we are put in via this whole industry, and you want to challenge how you see things and keep developing perceptions of not just the mindset, but everything to do with your health and your mental health around training, okay? And apart from that, I also have done CrossFit before, so physically I've done a lot of stuff, but at the moment I sit behind a computer a lot of the times and do a lot of admin, unfortunately. But yeah, that's me. I definitely enjoy being here. I'm excited to help you guys. So any questions, people, discussions, we want to get involved in the mindset stuff that we're going over today. So I really want you guys to ask questions. No calls, please, but questions are good. Thank you guys for being here again. And so, like I said, we want to really dive into each of these topics, right? Most of us today are going to focus on how these things impact ourselves. As soon as I mention belief systems, you're going to think about yourself. As soon as I mention identity, you're going to think about yourself. And I want you to, okay? Because if you don't understand these things for yourself, you cannot spot how to help someone else develop motivation in them. You can't spot how to help someone with self-confidence if you don't even understand what that means for you. So really think about yourself. Put yourself inside this entire system that we are going to cover and ask questions, think about it, take notes, take pictures. If any of you want these slides, I'll send it to you, because this is not something that you will be able to just consume everything. You will have to go and do some work, and you will have to go and develop these things for yourself, okay? Now, I wouldn't suggest trying to go do all of it, but you have to go and work on these things. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, let's not just be in here and then think, oh, this is cute, this is amazing, oh, willpower is so fascinating, and then you just leave here on your day and you can't wait for the buffet at lunch, because that's way more exciting. If anything attaches to you today, you have to go sit without distraction and work on it. Else it's not going to mean anything to you. Okay? And I'm very passionate about this, because it took me a very long time to even just start to understand what these things mean in my life. And it's changed how I see everything, especially in my health and lifestyle. And I would really love for you guys to have even just a little bit of that, because it's amazing. Okay, so firstly, belief systems, and I will ask you guys some questions throughout, because we want to get some perspective from you as well, okay? We want to understand from your side, what do these things mean? And you'll see I will put a lot of questions through the slides as to what does this mean to you? What does this mean in general? What does it get you to think about? Because for all of us, it's going to be different, okay? And that's why this is so special. It's not like we all have the same spine or shoulders and it's all the same techniques, right? But our minds all work a little bit differently, and that's so amazing. Okay, so belief systems. There are things that you believe that, whether it's conscious or unconscious, you believe them, okay? Whether it is stuff that you are in control of or not in control of, there are things that you believe. There are things that guides your life. There are things that are true to who you are. Now, whether that comes from the way you grew up or whether that comes from life and how that's happened to you, there are things that you believe. Now, I want you guys to try and think about belief systems a bit, and we need to work on these consistently, as long as we're always focusing on the physical stuff, okay, on our health, on our lifestyles. We have to constantly work on our belief systems. Now, perception guides belief. So how I perceive things around me guides how the things that I believe, right? And so if I grew up and no one in my family was active, I wouldn't perceive myself to be an active person. So a core belief of mine would then be, it's okay to not be active and not live a life where I can be active. So it's up to you to manage that perception. And we're going to touch on perception a bit later again today. But how you perceive the world around you is how everything impacts you in your life. Okay? You can manage everything in your life better by just thinking about things differently, right? And so those unconscious, right? If we think about perception guides belief, these guide actions and choices, right? So your belief guides your actions and your choices. Now, whether that's conscious or subconscious, that's, again, either up to you or not up to you. But it is always up to you to go and work on those things and develop what these beliefs are in your life. And you can then provide some perspective for your clients and your family and your friends. And you don't need to go fix everyone's life, but you can be the person who lives and understands these things, and you can always provide some insight and understanding around them. And the more you understand these things for yourself, you will just somehow, you'll just help people more, I promise you. And that's special. So, what do you believe about your lifestyle and your health? Like I said, if I believe that, my dad, I grew up with my dad just being in the gym. He's now in his 70s, he still looks amazing. He looks like mid to low 60s, okay? And he's just always trained. We grew up with that. I played sports. We just did these things. And I'm so, so, so fortunate for that. And so I believe that I'm an active person, right? How many in here believe that you just are someone who needs to be active? Right? It's just something you believe, right? But do we ever put a label on it? And today we want to do that. We want to go over definitions. We want to go over labels. We want to put these things into places in our life where we can then go and access them later and work on them, right? I can go and work on these things later and keep developing what they mean. Okay, so we're going to move on a little bit more to those definitions. Now, happiness is a big one. All of us just want a little bit more happiness in our lives, and hard work is something that we tend to sometimes sway away from. Determination, health, you need to have definitions, clear definitions and understanding of what these things mean in your life. I know what happiness means to me and what I need to go and do to get it. Do you know that? Or do you just have an idea of the things that make you happy? I've got a definition, and I'll give you the example. For me, happiness is when I do something difficult, and I grow and I change, and I develop who I am. It just makes me feel so happy. I don't know why. I'm just happy when I improve in my life because I know that's going to impact others. And that's the second part, which is if I help other people improve their life, that makes me so happy. And it's not the same for everyone, okay? These are just my two main cores around happiness. Now, there's obviously a lot of other things that would drive you towards being unhappy, but trying to find happiness now, I understand. Okay, all I have to go and do for my happiness today is I have to go and push and grow myself, or I just go and help people. And this is why I'm passionate about you guys being here, because I would really love to give you something today that you can attach to, okay? Hard work, what does that mean to you? Do you know what that means to you? Or do you just like, oh, for me, 10 burpees is hard work, you know? It's hard, but that's not hard work, guys. You need to go and define these things in your life and think about it a little bit more deeper and not just always function on that surface level and always just have conversations and say what people want to hear. Because you guys know, you go into conversations and you want to say something, but you always say what that person wants to hear. That's just who we are. And so I always try to ride that line, and I try and just say what I want to say, and I understand and I've accepted that I am not responsible for other people's emotions, but I can go and help those who want to be helped. So if I understand these definitions and the things that I believe in, I can keep developing not just my own life, but how I help others and how I can improve their lifestyles. Okay, so a question. What would make you feel sufficient and proud? Immediately you need an answer for that, okay? What makes you feel sufficient? What makes you feel proud? Like I said, I can share these slides with you because if you guys are not taking this down, these are not things you can go and work on, okay? So these are things that you need to go and define for yourself, right? So if you write that down, whether you journal or meditate or whatever you do, think about it. Go write that down. And then the next one is, why is life awesome and what excites you? Right? Like, what excites you? Now, that is something that doesn't normally ring a bell to us. And when we think about training, it's like, oh, what excites me? Not burpees, but being healthy excites me. It might not excite us all the time, but I can promise you, if you are not healthy, you will be very excited about being healthy. Okay, and that's why a lot of the people you guys are helping are currently, right? And they don't understand what it's like. They don't understand that excitement, okay? But if you are not living that life, if you are not trying, I promise you, we're never going to be perfect with all this stuff. Okay, we're all sitting here, and it's this whole like kind of situation where we're going to say what we need to say, but deep inside here, we all have thoughts. We all think we're a bit weird. There's weird things that excite us, but these are the things that make you who you are. If you work on these, you'll never nail it, but you'll always be working on it, and that's what's special, and that will keep exciting you going forward. Okay, so in terms of belief systems, we're going to move on from that. I just wanted to help you guys find the foundation, which is, these are the things that you should be believing. These are the things that you guys need to use as your foundation for all the things that lie ahead. Okay, and so I wanted today to not make this too much about training mindset, waking up in the morning, doing the hard things, focusing on going to the gym. I did not even include goal setting, because I'll get to that a bit later, and why goal setting is important but not the most important. And we'll touch on that a little bit later. So next we're going to go into identity.
Sorry,
what's up?
Speaking about belief systems, religion, culture, it all plays part of our belief systems.
Yes.
And this makes each one individual unique from the other person.
Exactly, right? And there's so many things that guide that, right? So like you said, your religion impacts it. There's many things that guide how that affects not just these things, but also your overall lifestyle, right? So, and obviously, guys, today I'm trying my best to relate this to health and fitness and training, because you guys are mostly coaches helping people in the gym or in studios or just some kind of active sport. And so I'll always focus more on that, but everything makes us so individual, right? And that's so special. And this is why I'm saying you guys are going to attach to things differently today, right? I have no idea what things you are dealing with. You don't know what's happening in my life. I do not understand. But I'm trying to be compassionate about the fact that some of these things can help you guys so much if you're willing to just go and put in a little bit of work, okay? After all of this, we'll bring it back around. Okay, I don't want to dive too much into each one. So identity is very similar to our core beliefs and our identity. Can someone give me a little bit of like just an idea of what identity means? Who you are. I love it. We'll go with that. That's the best one, and it's very important to understand who you are. Now, when I was younger and I just started heading into gyms myself, this is more than a decade ago, I started being active, I started training, I played sports way before that. I promise you guys, a little bit before I came to Dubai even, I was like looking at other people. I was in the gym. In the last decade, I probably have not been in the gym for more than 2 weeks or even 1 week. It's just something that I do. But there are other parts of my identity that I had no connection with. I just knew I'm the guy that trains, and I'm trying to help other people train. But there are no other parts of my identity that I was in control of or understood quite clearly. And so that affected so many other things in my life, because I would always be good at training. That's the easy thing. But the hard things were the things that I needed to go and work on. And that stems from who you are, okay? And that's something that develops and something that we all need to kind of keep trying to figure out. And so certain goals require certain development of the mind and our identity. If you have a goal of being the best influencer, or the CEO of whatever company, right? Those goals require a certain amount of mental development for you to believe that that's even possible to begin with, and that stems from your identity and who you are. And so a weak identity means you are not yet the person with the thoughts and the understanding. You don't have those thoughts that you should be having. You don't have the understanding. And because of that, you don't have the trust in yourself required to achieve the goals you want. And that is powerful, guys. If you cannot think in a way that you need to be thinking on a daily basis to achieve the goals you want, you're not going to get there. So if there are goals that you have not yet gotten to, it's because you haven't developed that level of thinking. And that's okay. It's absolutely fine. We all have gone through that. It just is what it is. But that guides you in a direction where you need to go and work on these thoughts. And if you spend half of your day distracted by social media or people complaining, or that list is long, you never put in time to develop your own identity, and then you don't even know who you are. And that affects everything in your life. So that is something that I want you guys to really go and develop in your mind and think about. And with time, there are more things we can do, like you were writing. Take pictures, please. You can take 5. You got it? Yeah. Okay. So guys, 5 things in your health that you currently or want to identify with. Okay, so if I say to you, if someone asks me, hey, you have a cigarette, I'm like, no, I don't smoke. It just is what it is, right? You guys must have heard, for example, someone who wants to quit smoking say, oh, I stopped smoking. And that's the wrong answer. The answer should be, I don't smoke. Because you remove any temptation, you now identify as being someone who just does not smoke. Okay? And this is a very, very surface level kind of explanation, but there's a lot more things that you can go and identify with. And that's why I want you to think about 5 things that you currently identify with or you want to identify with. Okay? Why is health and exercise a part of my identity? So this is what I said. I had to go and think about that. I had to go and think to myself, how am I helping all these people? I'm in the gym every single week. I spent hours and hours and hours in the gym, and it's easy for me. When I go home, I struggle with other stuff. I struggle when it comes to people pleasing. I struggle with nutrition, eating properly. I struggle with all these other things. And I had to go and figure out, like, but why is exercise such a big part of my identity? I don't understand. Okay? We just do it, guys, and we have some sense of why, because we know we feel better. We know it regulates our mood. We know we are more healthy when we do it. And all these things are amazing, but you have to understand that, right? And if I tell you now why it's a part of my identity, it's still a topic that I'm trying to develop. I still don't clearly understand it, but I'm really trying my best to keep developing that. And so that's why I've dived quite a bit deeper into these, and these are the things that I work on when I get the time, when I make the time. That's quite even more special. So let's see if I can move here. Ooh, willpower. Who in this room has got a lot of willpower? I love it. I love it. Guys, I promise you, if you asked me that question a few years ago even, I would not have put my hand up. Because I'm not sure. I don't know. Who put their hands up here? Can I ask you, what does willpower mean to you?
I think I do what I want to do, not what, like, I feel free to do what come to my head to do. Let's say I don't have the afraid to fail. I just do it, what I want to do.
Okay, so you've got things that you want to do, and you just feel like, I just do them.
Yeah,
I just do them. I'm not scared of failure. I don't care about what other people think about me.
Yes.
Amazing.
I will always try.
Right? And that's guided by things that has happened to her in her life. And that is the thing that she's attached to. Right? So what does willpower mean to you?
No excuses.
No excuses?
First. Second, there is nothing impossible.
Okay, guys, we haven't actually thought about that before. So you guys will see quotes online, you'll see things and you're like, no excuses, or nothing is impossible, and you're like, ooh, amazing, that's so cute. He deeply has a connection with no excuses. So when he lives his day-to-day life and his brain is thinking of making an excuse, he believes that that's not something that he likes to do, so he doesn't make an excuse and he does the harder thing. And that's willpower for him. Does that make sense?
Like not letting the short-term temptations take over.
Okay, so instant gratification, right? You don't want the negative emotions to be something that you react to. You want them to just be something that is there. Because negative emotions is generally what guides us to want positive emotions. So we want that instant kind of switch from there to there. And that's something he believes, right? So based on the things he's been through, please tell me.
Do what you love what you do.
And you love what you do, right? Yeah? If you guys could see her smile. So she loves what she does, and then... So everything you just heard was a bit different. But you can go and take these things and place them into pockets in your life, okay? For other people, no excuses doesn't go with willpower. No excuses might go with hard work. But it doesn't matter. Just go put it somewhere. Does that make sense? Right? So the reason why people fail is because they can't lift the emotional weights required to achieve the goals that they set. So you set the goal, but you don't have the emotional capacity to go and achieve that goal. So you go and try and access the shortcuts, you go and try and access the cute strategies, you go and try and access things that are not going to help you because you emotionally cannot lift the weights that are necessary, right? And where that stems from is something you need to go and understand. So you might set a goal, your clients might set a goal for fat loss, and we know that's going to happen 12 weeks in this year. It's around 3 months left, bit under. People are now going to set goals. 1 out of 10 are going to reach those before the end of the year. And then 9 out of 10 are going to set them again. And then we go again. They're going to start working on that willpower again. And there we go again and try the new year, right? But we keep setting goals that are so far ahead that emotionally we cannot even comprehend what it's going to take to get there. And you just therefore cannot get there. Okay? Now, you guys have seen, I promise you guys have seen clients reach their goals with a very, very surface level understanding of any of this. Okay? But then you've seen people who understand these things and they still can't get there. Some people just do things easier. Some people just grew up eating a certain way, and some people just grew up being active. Some people's families just guided them more, and it is what it is. Okay? I didn't have that. I didn't have too much of that guidance because I was just in survival mode as a child. Okay? I was just like, listen, let's just get through this. Let me just be a good boy at school, and let's just focus on getting through this, whatever this is. Right? And you get to a point where you understand that in terms of what it means for you and the person right next to you is different. So now if you're going to go and compare yourself to someone next to you, you're going to throw all of that willpower down the drain. Okay? But only if you envy what they have. You guys must have heard comparison is the thief of joy, correct? Okay. Who has heard that? Comparison is the thief of joy. Come on, more of you guys must have heard this. Thank you. Okay. Comparison is not the thief of joy. If you compare yourself to others, you get quite a good idea of where you stack up in the environment, and it gives you an aim, it gives you a direction to go for. The problem is when you compare yourself to others, but you want what they have. You envy their situation. You cannot see out of your little bubble that the things inside the bubble is what you should be focusing on. If I go and compare myself to any of you, and I want to get better at something that you are good at, I don't look at your life, I just look at maybe how you've gotten there, and then I need to look back. Okay? I always need to look back inside. A big foundational belief for me is looking inside. Anything that happens around you, anything that happens in life, I promise you, you'll find an answer if you look inside. Whatever happens, whatever someone does to you, anything happens, look inside and you'll find a way to deal with it. But you need to understand where to look. Okay? So, we're going to move on. Like I said, willpower, what does that mean to you? And it's something that you can write down that question, put in an answer, and then every week for the rest of this year, you can write down a different definition. It doesn't matter. Okay? We've gotten some willpower out of you guys already. If you're looking for something special to happen, it has to be hard. Because change is required. New skills break apart your old self, which is your current self, and this is hard. So what I'm saying there is, the new skills required to break apart your old self and who this person is made up of, the things this person is made up of, it's difficult to go and break those habits. It's difficult to go and change the things that you have lived your life by to then go and create those skills. And that's change. But that is your current self. Because we are currently thinking from a perspective of our future self. But we are our old self in the moment. So every day we are our old self and we are moving towards our future self. That's why they say, what would your future self do? You have no idea what your future self would do. Right? Even if you think you do. Okay? Please tell me.
So would you say that willpower is detaching your emotions to not doing what you want to do, but what needs to get done?
So, what I'm saying is I don't know, okay, because it's unique to you, right? And yes, willpower, you need to detach from emotions. Why? Because negative emotions generally stimulate actions that are not favorable for change and developing new skills. So yes, to some degree, you need to detach from negative emotions. Generally, we don't want to detach from positive emotions.
Not complete, but like
Yeah.
negative emotions that drive you.
Yes, and so what I would say is yes and, because we generally say yes and, add to that. So instead of just saying detach from negative emotion, and you just go home and you're like so negative about that thing, and you're like, yeah, I just don't know how to do that. How do people do it? You look around and you see people that are successful, and you think about their life, and you think about how they can just do these things. How do they not have these negative emotions? They do, they don't act on it. They don't act on them. They don't necessarily completely detach from them, because that will come up later. But they just allow those to be there and still go and do what they need to go and do to develop those skills. Yeah. But it's still hard. And that's what I'm saying. This is hard. Does that make sense? Right? So when it comes to breaking your old self apart, think about that in present tense, because that's who you are right now. And tomorrow you will be your new old self, not your future self. Your future self, you have no idea of where you are going. Your goals are based on emotions that you are after, and your old self is not the thing that's guiding you necessarily. Your current self is guiding your old self on where you want to go. So that's in terms of willpower. If you want something to push you in a direction, we can think about action. Action always comes first. If you don't know what this means to you, you need to find the action that you need to go and do to get to where you want to go, right? So if you've got a client who wants to lose weight, or a client who wants to get stronger, what's the first action that they need to be taking? They just need to go and train, or they need to go and prepare some food, and then just take that action. And if you can tell that 5 out of 7 days they've taken the action, you know they're heading in a direction where they need to go. And you can tell them, hey, you've got great willpower. Do you know what it means to someone if you go to them and you say, listen, you've got amazing willpower? That's something that's so special, right? When have you ever had someone come up to you and say, I think your willpower is amazing, right? I've gone to friends and I've said to him, dude, you are so honest. I don't know how you do it, but dude, it's so cool to see. It makes me uncomfortable sometimes, but I go out and say it to them because I find it fascinating. And that's why we all are different. So if you can guide people and then use these definitions on them, it's incredibly beneficial to them, and it stimulates critical thinking in terms of like not just the surface level conversation we always have, right? Oh, how was your day? Oh man, no, good. Kids, kept me up. Like those conversations are needed, but then there is a point where if you're truly going to help people, you need to be pushing them a little bit more when it comes to some of these things. Okay, so the willpower, okay, and this changes the skills that we need to get to, changes with time. So we have to have an understanding about this and what it means at all times. And this is what I'm saying. You can write down the definition now and next week and it will be different. Maybe it's the same, but you need to always know. This week that's coming now, I know what I need to go and do. It's difficult. There's things that I'm scared of right now. Okay? I was scared coming in here. I didn't know how many people were going to be here. Yesterday, my class was little over full, and we actually wanted to do practical, but it didn't happen. But we figured it out. But I understand where my willpower needs to go because I have a definition for it. Okay, but I know which actions I need to go and take next week, and I'm going to go and take those. I've disconnected from social media at times where I don't know what to share because if I show what I'm doing, I feel like it's not going to help anyone. And it doesn't. It just keeps your eyeballs busy. So, and if I don't have an understanding of the things that I'm trying to share and make you guys feel, I'm like, how do I share something that's not going to help you? You know what I mean? And so I've even gotten that to be better. And my focus is always, lead by example, yes. But are you doing things? Are you posting videos? Are you doing things that others can see for you to feel better? Or are you doing things to purely guide and help other people and have them get those feelings that you have about being active? And that's something you need to go and think about. And I hope some of you stop posting certain things that you know you're posting and focus a little bit more on just guiding people in a direction of something that you're actually passionate about, okay? Because if you're always focused on those little likes that you get, you're not going to get there, I can promise you now. Okay, but if you post something that you think is going to help someone, even one person, and change their whole day, I don't think you understand how impactful that is for them. Okay, so action has to be the core belief and the foundation of willpower. So I'm giving you something to attach to, but you don't have to. I don't care. But it's helped a lot of people. So if you know the foundation of willpower means action, then you can go and figure out what the action is. And then I can say, okay, well, if I do that action, I've got the willpower. Because if you don't believe you've got the willpower, those thoughts, those mental places where you are at now are not developed enough for you to lift the emotional weights necessary to go and achieve the things you want to achieve. And it starts from little things like willpower. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about action or willpower, these definitions, anything? Is everyone, by show of hands, still with me? Okay. Amazing. Yeah, guys, my next seminar is super practical. There's a lot of talking here, so just bear with me. Take a few deep breaths. Okay. You guys have that down? Okay. Are you making decisions based on feeling, on your feelings, or are you basing them on your goals? So you see, now I'm starting to bring some of those social media quotes in, right? Because I'm sure you guys have seen those videos with incredibly amazing production value focused on telling you stuff like this. Then what do? You just swipe on along. It's like, oh, that made me feel good for just a second, and now I'll just keep going, finding the next one. But here we are, and you guys have to sit and listen to me. And now we can think about it. Okay, so think about it. Are you making decisions based on feelings or based on goals? Now, I'm going to give you two things that you can attach to. And obviously, we're focusing on health. We're focusing on our lifestyle. Two things you can attach to as an outlet for that. Because I can tell you now, when you are in those negative emotions and you are overwhelmed with whatever you are dealing with, and you tell yourself, hey, are you about to make a decision based on feelings or goals? All you are thinking is, dude, I just want to feel a bit better. I honestly couldn't care less. I'll deal with my problems tomorrow. Right? But there has to come a time where there are moments. There are going to be moments where you just start to click in your brain that right now I could actually just not eat that cake. Or I could literally now just put on my shoes and go to the gym. You're going to run into those moments, and if you look out for them, and if you start thinking about them, and if you start thinking about past moments, they will make up a huge percentage of how you are able to take action. Okay? So you need to start becoming more aware of those moments. Okay? And if you keep doing that, I promise you, I've thought about it so much, and I would sit there and I would think about that thing, and I was like, I can give you an example. So I don't look like a triathlete to you guys, do I? No. I thought so. Hey?
More of
You look more like a power lifter.
Yes, CrossFit, powerlifter, exactly. I don't look like I can touch my toes and run 10 kilometers quite easily, but I can. And so that's okay, and I've pushed so hard to get better at running because it's something that I just wanted to be better at because it's hard. And it's part of the process of me finding things that are hard. If I did weightlifting every day, I would just do things that I like and it's fun and I'm not pushing myself to be uncomfortable. So I signed up for a triathlon because now I need to start learning how to swim. So you guys can guess how that's been going. So I promise you, in 6 weeks' time, I need to go do this triathlon. And I'm standing here thinking about this afternoon, I need to be in the pool. And I'm in the pool literally making sure I'm just breathing, okay? And then I see these people swimming, and they're just constantly swimming. And getting to that pool, I go through these moments. I sit there and I think to myself, oh, there's this moment that's about to happen where I'm like either going to go or I'm going to go for a run. But I think about these moments so much, and I then try and just grab that moment and go with it, okay? So if you guys can start being more aware of these moments in your life and think about them as just a moment, there's a situation, and there's something that I'm about to do, and you will start creating awareness in those moments, okay? Red button thinking. Who here knows the concept of red button thinking? Lovely. Okay, some of you do, I'm sure, but you don't want to tell me. Red button thinking, guys, if I tell you, if you want to be the strongest in the room, you want to just be strong. And there's a red button there. You have to push that red button 1,000 times, and you will be the strongest in the room. How many times are you going to go and push that red button? You're going to very quickly get yourself to 1,000 presses. But what we don't understand is that all our goals do work like that. But we don't see them like that. Our brains don't work like that. But we want to start thinking about the red button. And if I know that that red button for me is not overthinking my swimming technique or something, and that red button is just me taking my goggles and walking towards the pool, then I know I just need to keep pushing that red button and I'll get there. Because I've had someone tell me, this is the red button, okay? I've had someone tell me, dude, stop focusing on the technique, just go to the pool and start swimming. Just breathe and rest and keep doing it. So now I know, okay, when that moment comes up, I can just push that red button. And I know, okay, the more times I push this red button, the quicker I can push that button, I will reach that goal a lot sooner. Does that make sense? Yes, so think about those red buttons in every moment, okay? And then, lastly, when it comes to overall willpower, Self-awareness is more powerful than willpower. And I'll tell you why. Because if you always rely on you just having the willpower to do it, you're not going to do it. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Because we all wake up some mornings and we're like, ooh, I'm going to do this. And then by lunchtime, you don't know what happened. But something happened and willpower left the building. Okay? But if you can focus on having a strategy to be more self-aware in every moment, you don't have to always act on it. Okay? Those moments that come up, you're not always going to push the red button, and that's okay. But just be aware of that. Because the more times you are aware of that, you'll start to realize that, geez, this week I've had 5 of those moments, I might as well start pushing the button. Okay? And so that self-awareness when it comes to our daily actions and how we live our life is the most important thing. Because if you keep beating yourself up about not having willpower, you'll never have willpower. Okay? So start thinking in terms of just being a bit more aware about what you are doing. Okay? Stop distracting yourself. Okay? You are distracting yourself because you are scared. And then you think to yourself, well, I don't have willpower to do this. Yes, because you're constantly just not with yourself. You're somewhere else on a different planet. Okay? You're in the metaverse constantly. So be more self-aware and understand that those small moments have a red button attached to them. And it's okay if you don't push it all the time. But you do need to be honest with yourself, as if you've not pushed them 5 times in a row, then you understand you are not going to reach your goal. And there are phases in life that we go through where that's okay. Sometimes there's things that happen. We don't need the willpower to always push that red button, but you will know where you want to head to, whether you need to start pushing those buttons. Okay? So start thinking about those red buttons and just being a bit more self-aware. And if you do that, you can be a bit more consistent. So who can tell me what consistency means?
Keep doing the thing that you need to do even if you don't want to do it.
Yeah?
But you just have to.
So keep doing the things you want to do, even though you don't want to do it. Yeah? Just discipline. Okay? Sorry, what does discipline mean to you?
Speak for what you keep doing and consistently doing. I give an example like I keep daily basis wake up around like 4 a.m. Day off, not day off, I'll be there.
So for you to be consistent, you need to do something and you need to feel like you're disciplined.
Doesn't matter what happen, I keep doing everything.
Okay, guys, so there are things like that I never used to understand. I would see people being disciplined about something, and I was like, how do you do it? Right? But that for him works. He gets it. Right? For him, he knows he just needs to do things even though he doesn't want to do it. And he knows what that is, so he just does that. Most of the time, hopefully. Right? Tell me.
Developing a habit.
Developing a habit. So if you develop a habit, what happens then?
You can stay consistent.
You can stay consistent, right? Because a habit is something we tend to consistently do, right? So, can you build any habit?
Going to the gym.
Okay, so you're saying we need to build good habits.
Good habits.
Yeah, because we could be consistently doing bad things, right?
Definitely.
So, think about it. Yeah? So being consistent, right? Focus on which habits I need to build. What else, brother? Habibi, tell me.
Consistency is like drinking again, stuff like that, every day without any break. And acting like you like it. Because to stay success, you need to wake up every day at 6 in the morning, for example. You need to go in your time, and you hate it, but you still will go. And every day, like every day will do the same. So every day you are in pain, but you continue one by one.
Tell me, drinking what?
Pain. It's poetry.
Drinking what?
Pain.
Beer. Brother, I told you I need to come to the pyramids to figure out which language this is. I know, I'm with you. But I still don't know what you said.
B-A-I-N. Pain. Like someone bench you, you feel something.
pain. You need to drink the pain. Okay, I get it now, but I thought you said pain, but I was like, how can you drink pain? But I love it because that is a representation for him, right? That is the thing that he sees in his head. There's this painful thing that I'm about to go through, okay? Other people can't see the pain and they just want to stay away from it. For him, you run towards that pain, right? Because you associate that with, yeah, I love it.
I have one definition.
Yes, tell me.
Keep push of the red button. This consistency.
Okay. So she's saying that another definition is constantly pushing that red button. Keep pushing it, right? So the amount of time that goes by, you don't want that time to be too long between you pushing it and pushing it again, right? And that creates consistency. Because you could push it now and then push it again in 1 year, right? But it's about the time, right? So that's what I'm saying. Don't let too many moments go by where you don't push the button. So that's perfect. Yes, dude.
Basically, it's 1% every day better than 100% after a week or a month, and you then stop.
So consistency would then mean you want to be 1% better today.
Every day.
Every day. Yeah, but today, we focus on today, bro. Because I promise you, most people...
For 100% and you stop.
Do you know why I said let's focus on today? Because the concept of being 1% better every day doesn't make sense if your expectations are set wrong to begin with. Does that make sense? Because most people set goals based on negative emotions that they want to get rid of. Because why do people want to lose all their body fat? Does that really make you more happy? We all know it doesn't, but it has to be something that you push for. Now, everyone wants to achieve that before December. So do you think they'll be 1% better every day? No, because they're reaching for 10% every day. So your expectations need to be in line with that. But you've got an understanding. I'm just telling them what 1% means. But you know. I love that. Tell me, anything else?
For me, as an ultra runner, it's about training regardless of the weather conditions outside.
That's beautiful.
Like,
But I would tell you
even
something.
in summer, I still do 6-hour sessions outside, and yeah.
Okay, living here, that makes sense, right? Yeah. But I would tell you.
No, but I have trained in rainy conditions and
Yeah.
mud and very low temperatures, yeah.
No, I get that. The first thing that came to my mind was your body must be feeling so bad and you are focused on the temperature. Like, yes, that's a thing, but an ultra runner, I'm sure, deals with some pain.
Yeah,
Habibi,
You enjoy the pain, basically.
pain.
but it's related to what you said. When,
Yeah.
as ultra runners, you develop a very strong mindset.
Yes.
In the long hours, after 12, 14, 15 hours, it's this. Even when the body gets tired, this pushes you through.
I love that. Guys, ultra running, I mean, I don't think I would try that, but I run a lot. I run a lot, and there's something that happens in your brain, okay? And so I find that very fascinating how people think, people who are able to just go and run 100 kilometers. I'm not saying they just wake up and do that, but no, but that is insane. So, okay, consistency, there were a few more who wanted to tell me. Yes?
Regularly performing action, behaviors.
Action.
Behaviors, action, goals to reach with a certain time.
So you are focusing on the fact that there are specific actions that you need to be taking consistently.
Anyone can do different. My action, my performance, my behavior,
Yeah.
his behavior, his action.
So do you guys see what I'm trying to get to here? We all see things differently. But if you all want to try and see things the same way, you're going to have those conversations that are up here. There's a surface. And if you never go down in that surface, below that surface, you'll never figure it out for yourself and you'll never deeply connect with other people about these things. Okay? And if you are so stubborn and your ego is way up there, and you are constantly trying to tell your clients and tell people what they should be thinking about what consistency is, you're going to overlook what it means to them to begin with. And you're just going to be misleading them instead of trying to help them. Because your ego wants to keep you safe. It's not about the people around you. Your ego is about you. And so your ego is there trying to keep you safe. And then with time, you bring others down with you. right? I'm trying today to embrace just being yourself and figuring this out for you. I'm trying to guide you in that direction. And some of you have gotten there, which I love, right? But you can keep going even further, below that surface. Okay, so anyone else, tell me consistency. No one at the back's been consistent today.
They are consistent.
Sorry, I'll be with you now, dude. Tell me.
Setting short-term goals, not long-term goals, and work every day to reach them.
Okay.
Because when you set long-term goals, you might lose the consistency or the motivation or the discipline. But setting short-term goals and every day doing something to reach that goal.
And would you say that setting a short-term goal is beneficial for what? Why is that beneficial?
As for me, I'm a physiotherapist. So when patients come to me like, I want to run 10 kilometers. Okay, but let's start with
1 minute.
yeah.
Yeah. And that makes sense.
Every time we increase a little bit, staying consistent in order to reach that goal. But first goal, it might be 1 kilometer. Our second goal, 2 kilometers.
Yeah.
It can be with pain, but you're able to run it.
Yeah.
So pain is not the major thing I'm working on. I'm working on letting you reach that goal with pain or no pain.
There's something coming up that you are going to attach to with that, and we'll touch on that again, okay? I love that. Thanks, man. Dude, tell me.
I'll define it as the ability to continuously do the things that you set out to do.
But some people set out to do bad things, dude. And they keep doing it. Yeah, exactly, right? So that's my point, is what is consistent. It is whatever it is to you. So he set out to do something, and he's just constantly focusing on doing that. There's something that he does, right? Now, you need to go and dive deeper into that for the people you want to go and help individually. First, help yourself, right? But while you do that, try and help some other people along the way. Okay? There were a few more consistent people back there. There were 2 more hands. Tell me consistency. Yes?
Yes, consistency is to keep doing the thing that you are doing in the right way to achieve your goal.
In the right way. And is it always the right way?
You should, no?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
You should do your best.
doing something not in the right way.
Yeah. You should. Yeah. No. So you should be trying to do the right thing. So the right thing is also a big thing that we'll go into. And we'll talk about the right thing and the wrong thing. Okay? So I would like to tell people generally, okay, on a small kind of surface level, we talk about bricks. Any kind of a brick. Lego bricks or whatever. Bricks are generally just laid one at a time, right? So if we were building this room, we would start with 1 brick in the corner, and we would slowly try and build this wall. We're not going to just think about the house is now there. No, we have to go and lay those bricks. So how do we see those bricks? Short-term goals, for example, we can put those bricks one at a time, and then we can start creating the walls that start to build the house, right? And if you know your rate of laying down bricks are good enough to build the house that you want by the time you want it, that means you've got a process, you've got an understanding of that process, you've got an understanding of what the actions are necessary to get there, and you have the ability to create urgency around that because you can now go and push for that, okay? Because you understand what the bricks are. And the minimum action are what these bricks are. Because, like we said, if people only focus on long-term goals, they can't see what minimum action looks like. They don't understand what I need to do today because they just see that I need to do all of this stuff to get to where I want to go. And they look past the goals. They look past the small things because they are fixated on something that is too big for their emotional capacity to lift, right? So minimum action, guys. Tell your clients, tell the people you're trying to help, minimum action is the only thing you want to be focusing on if you want to be consistent. To be consistent, it's not about waking up at 5 and eating properly today and training 3 times a day and doing work and what is the minimum thing that I can do every single day? And if you guide people while they've got these outrageous goals, tell them fine, but let's just start with what is the minimum thing you can do every day, and find a way to make them believe that. Because if not, you'll never keep a hold on them, because they'll just run, and you can't hold them back. Okay.
For some people, it's only get up from the bed. Because I train the people after stroke, after depression, after cutting.
Yes.
Sometimes it's very hard to wake up and come to the gym.
Yeah, so for most people, it is literally just one thing. Guys, if you do one, you know what the one thing is that you would do that would change a lot of things. So figure that out and go and try and help other people with that as well. Okay. So self-awareness, we've had a chat about self-awareness. You need to understand that it has to be true to you. Okay? The thing you are trying to do needs to be something that you actually want to do. Okay? Do you really just want to have the bikini body for summer? You never go to the beach. Why do you want a bikini body? You know? Like, it's not true to you, okay? But do you want to run around and pick up your kids? Do you want to be active with your family? Do you want to just feel good? What is true to you? And is your consistency being guided by the things that are true to you? And that will get you there, okay? Why are you doing this? Okay? Why? If you don't understand why, just stop. Just go do something else. I promise you. Just figure out why you're doing it before you can even think about what consistency means. Because if you can put all of these things together, you've got a clear understanding of consistency. You don't always have to be there, but you can understand what it is. And you can always make sure you know where to go. You always can have the direction and be aware in all these situations what this means to you. Because guys, when I started getting into the big world and I had to start doing some hard things, I could never understand why I had people around me that just did these things day in, day out. And I just couldn't. I'm telling you now, I couldn't. I didn't know. Right? But it was because I didn't have the thoughts, the understanding, the emotional capacity, the experience, whatever. But all of these things, once you get it, it's something that you have access to, whether you do it good or not. But you need access to it, right? And like you guys saw, everyone's got different kinds of access to what it means, okay? So the easier thing to do is generally the wrong thing, unfortunately. It's not like that's true with everything in life, but generally there are no shortcuts, okay? Sometimes, you know, if you want to kind of, you know that traffic situation where you cut in there. That's kind of a shortcut because you got there a little bit sooner. But in most things in life, when it comes to us, we want instant change, but biologically things take a bit of time, okay? And we need to understand that there's no quick way to get there. So 5-year thinking equals decision making. So how do you make decisions? Now, the 5-year thinking method is something you can think about with anything. I hate it when people tell me, where do you want to be in 5 years from now? I'm like, brother, I don't know where I am right now to begin with. Okay? So please don't ask me stupid questions. 5-year thinking, I think to myself, is this thing that I'm currently doing, is this aiding to where I want to be? Okay? In a way, in an angle where I think to myself, is this going to be important to me in 5 years from now? This thing that I want to buy, am I going to even have this thing in 5 years from now? Is this thing going to matter in 5 years from now? Do I need this thing in 5 years from now? If I want to be consistent, I can say, I need this thing 5 years from now, so I might as well start now. Okay? Do I need this in 5 years from now? Is it going to be important 5 years from now? Okay? Because then you bring that all the way back to today, and you can start working on daily things to get there. Okay? So it's always driven by choices and difficult choices, unfortunately. But like we've seen, if you tell people, you want to be consistent, you need to know how to make difficult choices. No one understands what that means. You have to guide them, okay? And if you don't understand what it means for you, how are you going to guide them? We're going to guide them with all of these things we've covered. Okay, So think about the 5-year thinking. If you want to do something, is this going to benefit me in 5 years from now? It's an easy answer. And that in itself is a little moment where you get to either push the red button or wait for tomorrow. Okay? So that's so important. And to be consistent, we need the commitment to keep doing it, right? So do you guys see how many things that there are that we want to try and develop? But it takes time, it takes effort. Okay? Who can tell me what commitment means? To take action? To do something. Yeah, well, if you do something, you're quite committed to doing something, right? So, just doing something. What else?
Commitment is to use all your energy, or you need to be focused, or you need to provide everything to get to that goal.
So commitment for you means you need to put in a lot of effort to get to the goal. Okay? So we've got effort to get to the goal and taking action. Focus. That's a big one. That's a big one. Right? Yes, dude.
I think it's finishing what you said you're going to start.
Oh, that's a big one.
Even if you lose motivation halfway through, you commit to it, so you have
Yeah.
to finish it. regardless of-
So he's saying finishing what you committed to start. Because essentially when we do something, we make a commitment, which means we need to start doing something to commit to that thing and finishing that thing. So to finish that thing, we need to take action. We need to be focused. And this drives commitment, right? Challenges. Tell me. You need to face challenges. Yeah. You need to face challenges. Resilience. Yeah, you may say that. Right?
For me, it's so simple.
Yeah?
Be on time.
Be on time. You see, guys, this is my point. For him, being on time drives every aspect of commitment in his entire life. Okay? And you don't always get it perfect, I'm sure of that, but you're way better than most people. I can promise you that. Because it's something he believes. And if that's something you want to believe, why do you struggle to do it? Go and break it down. Okay? Why are you not committed to this thing? I can promise you generally because you're scared, but you need to go and develop that for you. Okay? So, why do you want to keep the promises you make to yourself? You need to finish that thing you committed to, right? If you want to finish that thing, why do you want to keep the promises you make to yourself? Guys, this is probably one of the biggest things that we would ever try and understand about ourselves. You will break way more promises in your lifetime that you've made to yourself versus promises you've made to other people. And so, why do you want to keep the promises that you make to yourself? Who can tell me? Why? Huh?
Because you're not committed.
No, why do you want to keep the promises that you made to yourself?
It's growing.
It's growing you. So the promise you made, tell me.
It gives you a sense of fulfillment.
If you stick to that promise.
Finish of an ultra, I feel a sense of fulfillment.
Okay, fulfillment, promise, growth.
Happiness, responsibility, ego.
Happiness, responsibility, ego. Guys, there's so many things that you will have that you want to make promises about to yourself. Oh, Monday, I'm going to do that thing. Saturday, let's see how many people do it on Monday, right? You guys know how busy the gym is on Monday.
No. First day of the year, January.
Oh,
Just, yeah, after, yeah.
it is coming, okay? It is coming. The first day of January 1st, okay? And guys, you have the capability to go and help most of those people, right? But if you were out there always focusing on yourself and what you were going to gain, no one's going to help anyone. And it just is what it is, okay? If you focused on yourself, when you are trying to help people, you will not get there. But if you're constantly trying to develop this and really care about what that person needs, you can go and help these people. Because contrary to like what we believe, starting in the beginning of the year is a good thing. You just need to manage the expectations of how long a year is and what they need to do in all the phases of this year. I like to think about 12 weeks. There's this amazing book called The 12-Week Year, where you are focused on 12-week sprints. So 3 months, all your goals are revolved around that. For 3 months, you just push. See what you can do. Okay? I take a week off, and then I focus on my next 3 months, and I just run with it. Okay? And in that time frame, you can get to places very quickly, way quicker than most people get there. Okay? So, like I said, we are generally all a bit scared, a little bit frightened, a little bit unsure. But if you understand the requirements to be great, you will understand the bar is set extremely low. There's another one of those social media quotes, right? It's true, okay? Do you understand the thing you're trying to do, what it actually takes to do that thing consistently? Do you understand to reach your goal, what you need to be doing? It's not that crazy. But it's crazy if you keep putting it off till the last minute, okay? But if you just do the things consistently day in, day out, at least the best you can, and some days you don't do it, but you're self-aware enough to understand that that's normal, then that's okay, right? So manage your expectations and focus on that red button thinking, okay? Because if you focus on the moments, you focus on your expectations and the red button thinking, you can always guide the things that you are scared of and understand where that bar is set, because it is set really low, okay? Motivation is after this, guys, but just to quickly finish up on commitment, what needs to change? You guys need to go and figure that out for yourself and for your clients. What needs to change? What are 5 things that you can be in control of every day that could change your life? Like waking up early, like being on time, like getting 7 hours of sleep every night. Those are the things we need to be getting into, but okay, are the things you want to commit to things that you're passionate about, right? Think about it. Are you overcommitted to things that are pulling you away from things that you want to be committed to, right? Unfortunately, sometimes you'll have a client that can't train for a week because their work is just insane, right? But guide them through that, okay? And understand that commitment runs in phases and it's not always the same, okay? By show of hands, who understands what motivation means? 5 people. Well, not sure, but yes. Okay, some people do. Okay. This is my point, guys. What motivates you? Okay? If you're trying to tell people, oh, you need to be motivated to do this, you're not helping anyone. Okay? And it's up to you to develop, again, what this means to you so you can help yourself and others. What does your vision look like? And I can tell you how motivated you're going to be. If you could have what you needed and wanted in a way that would be best for you, what would that look like? You're going to have to read that with me again. If you could have what you needed and wanted in a way that is the best for you, what would that look like? Yeah. So you are future thinking and you're putting your vision there. Yeah. Right? And if you can focus and going back to that, you can always motivate yourself. But to other people, that's not motivation, so they need to find how do they motivate themselves, right? But if you are just always waiting for motivation, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Okay?
One day comes, second day.
Hey? Say again?
One day it will come, second day will not.
No. Yeah, exactly, right? So you need to have the vision more than you need to feel motivated. Then you can start to develop a vision of what your life would be like if you were who you were in a way that was sustainable. So you can start to develop a vision of what your life would be like if you were who you were in a way that was sustainable And if you're going to do that on purpose, that's your motivation. Okay? Use that.
Sorry, say it again.
Okay. You can start to develop a vision of what your life would be like if you were who you were in a way that was sustainable. And that vision is the thing you need to attach to. Go do that thing on purpose. And that's your motivation. Okay? Guys, I do want to just quickly finish with something. So focus on the non-negotiables. 10,000 steps a day, 2 liters of water, whatever. It's important. Go and do it. Okay? Remove the friction. Reflect on what's happening around you and reflect on the things that's been happening. Reflect on those moments. Reflect on how many times you've been pushing that red button. Reflect on these things. Don't distract yourself. Okay? Patience. Guys, I have to tell you about patience. What does patience mean? Just waiting. No. Waiting, what do you mean waiting?
No, I mean like you cannot just get something by doing it.
Okay.
You have to.
You have to wait. Okay, you have to wait. That's true. So guys, patience is an action. Patience is an action. If you guys ever forget this, I'll be upset. Patience is an action, but it's an action that gets rid of expectations. You're acting on something without expecting anything to change right away. That is patience. Patience is not me sitting here waiting. Okay? Patience is me going out there and doing these things, but expecting that it's okay for nothing to change today. Because eventually it will. That's patience. Okay? It's an act, it's an action that we need to take. And all of that is also guided by self-confidence, right? So, self-confidence, I generally revolve around 3 pillars. Okay? Do you guys like my picture? I like this little child with the rocket. Okay? 3 pillars: perspective, perception, and practice. I'll have it over here as well. So, you actually have to push through and see some results so that you can slowly shift your perspective. So if you actually see a result, I weigh 1 kg less, I lift 5 kgs more, I run 1 kilometer further, and I feel the same. That slowly starts to shift your perspective, okay? Which boosts your self-confidence. The perception is, once you have that different perspective, you can start to see things differently, okay? So you can change how you see entire situations based on where you are looking from. If you are looking on your phone here, you can't see the perception, okay? Because you haven't looked under the surface, okay? How you see entire situations will guide how you act. If I'm driving on the road and someone cuts me off, I immediately do not care. I slow down, I avoid an accident, and I keep singing my song and going on with my day, right? Because that's how I see that whole interaction. I don't see this guy trying to belittle me or someone trying to be above me. I don't care, right? That's how I see that situation. That guides my perception of things and situations. Practice. You are not able to access other skills until you practice the ones available to you. You have to remember that. You cannot go where you want to go if you don't start with what you have access to right now, right? So the actions you need to take have to stem from the skills that you have now, and then small changes over time, small bits of difficult change over time to get better. And that's why we need to practice. So if you can always guide people to have a good perspective of where they look from, change how they see the world, and keep practicing with the skills they have, they'll be self-confident. And if you get someone to do that for 4 weeks, and you come to them after 4 weeks and you say, now you see, you are self-confident, it will change their life. Okay? Tell me.
Self-confidence, it's a habit. Can build over time.
Say again?
Is self-confidence, it's a habit that it will build over time.
Well, it could be for some people. It could be a habit for some. Like I tell you, it depends how you get there, dude. If you need practice, yes, you need to develop habits so you constantly practice things, but you do need to have the right perspective as well. You can't just see the fact that I need to have this habit and I'm just going to overthink and just focus on this habit for the rest of my life, because then you're not going to get there. So it requires all the pillars for the stuff to stay up there, all right? Guys, a little bit of reading, okay? You are living too far in the future. You need to bridge the gap to get to live the life in the future. We need to bridge that gap. How do we bridge the gap? Not by just being at the end, right? We need to take time and bridge that gap, okay? You don't have the skills to be where you want to be. Skill acquisition allows you to level up, and you realize you will care less if you're busy working on skills and you won't have time to create excuses and allow the opinions of others to affect how you see your own journey. Then you will have the skills to do the things that your future self needs to do. Therefore, you will be more confident. I'm not going to say too much more about that. And guys, the last thing I'll leave you with is, if you focus on who you want to become on the journey, you will always, always have a place to go. Okay? If you're always focused on the negative emotions or focused on the outcomes, you will forget about who it is that you actually want to become and who you were to begin with in the first place. Okay? So, thank you guys. Go do the work. I appreciate it.
that.
Thank you so much, hey? What's your name?
Pirmin.
What?
Pirmin.
How you say that?
Pirmin. Pirmin.
P-I-R-M?
M-I-N.
M-I-N. Perman.
Yeah,
What a
yeah.
cool name, dude.
Cheers, mate.
It's a pleasure, dude. I appreciate it.